There's so many things in life that are disposable. A mechanical watch, it's there forever, and there's something quite romantic about that.
Mechanical watches is only cogs and gears. This is about old school technology. When I move my wrist, it automatically winds itself up.
They're objects of passion, really. It's a little heartbeat on your wrist, and there's something very, very special about that.
So when growing up with our father, Nick and I used to be given these old clocks to try and dismantle and rebuild.
We sort of grew up with that love of all things mechanical, but clocks and watches were a big part of that.
Watchmaking really was hardcored into our DNA.
We're all sponsored through University by the Air Force. Our father did a lot of display flying in the 80s, of which Giles and I lucky enough to carry on and do that when we're in our teens and early 20s. And then life changed for us quite a lot in 1995 when I was practicing for an air display with my father, and there was a problem with the airplane and we ended up crashing and our father died. I think that was the sort of tipping point for us. Life suddenly changed and we wanted to do something different, and that's when I called up my brother and we pretty much both quit on the same day and off we went to start Bremont.
When we started in 2002, we had two core objectives. One was to build a beautiful collection of mechanical watches, and the second was to bring that manufacturing back to the UK. We also realised that all the skill set was in Switzerland. We hadn't realised quite how difficult it would be to bring that back to the UK. To be a good watchmaker, it's all about perfection. You need that mindset. You need the patience to achieve perfection.
You cannot accept anything other than perfection. When your watch is running at 98% of its design capacity, it's very, very obvious. So that's what's so difficult in the watch. It not only has to look beautiful, but it has to work. At Bremont, we run an apprentice scheme for future watchmakers, and it's incredibly important that we have that skill set in-house.
We got some very experienced watchmakers to come and join us, and they had to train younger people. How do you assemble a watch? How do you quality control a watch? How do you machine those components? Coming in from different industries, and that was really critical to our success because we knew there wasn't that skill set in the industry.
I've been a watchmaker for 43 years now. When I started, which was in the late 70s, that was quite a scary time for the watch industry because they thought the mechanical watch was going to die out. When I first started working with Bremont, it was really exciting times because they were going to bring the watch industry back to this country again and to actually start from scratch. It's so exciting still to be part of that dream.
I started Bremont 4 years ago. I started training as a watch assembler and I was building the watches for the last 3.5 years. When you start as an assembler at Bremont, we take anyone as long as you have all the skills required to build a watch, like patience and attention to detail, and you are guided through a year-long training scheme in building all of the models.
I joined the company almost 8 years ago. I was a jeweller and I had absolutely no idea how watches were made, and I was trained by our chief watchmaker. That was a great privilege to learn amazing new skills from somebody so gifted, a craftsman.
People realise that there's a future in good quality mechanical watches, and now with the new training schools out there which Nick and Giles are really promoting to try and bring youngsters back into the industry, yeah, exciting future.
The craftsmanship starts at the way the parts are made first of all. It takes incredible engineering and design to actually make watch parts.
You know, when you're machining the parts that go into a watch to such incredibly small tolerances, we're talking, 2 or 3 microns, which is incredibly tight. And when you see the love, the passion, the training that's gone into making those parts, the investment, you cannot help be attracted to the whole process.
And then it takes absolute painstaking concentration to put those parts together perfectly first time. If you can imagine picking up a screw that's not much bigger than a grain of sand, that gives you some idea.
More than 50% of the innovation that in any mechanical wristwatch that anyone is wearing right now, the ideas, the innovations came from this country in the 18th century. The principles, the physics, the science are exactly the same 300 years ago as they are today. It's just the materials that changed. And it's an industry that we've lost. What we at Bremont are trying to do is revitalise that industry.
It's a very complex business, but we do the whole thing ourselves. Anything from the design to the machining of those components to the assembly of the components, and obviously the retail and the marketing of a business that entails.
became obvious fairly quickly we needed a lot of space. So beginning of this year, 2021, we opened a new manufacturing facility, 35,000 square feet, the wing and the Bremont Technology Centre.
What's lovely is it's almost handing the baton on to a new team of people. We have so many brilliant employees here who will take it on for the next 20 years.
Nick and Giles are absolutely the embodiment of determination and success and achievement, because where a lot of people have dreams they'd like to achieve, Nick and Giles were not happy with just having a dream, they wanted to make it a reality.
I think my father would be proud of what we've achieved. He was an engineer, but he always loved physically building stuff. And I think being able to build a watch and put it on your wrist with people that you've trained up and you've supported is something which is really, really special. And I think my father would definitely have felt that as well.